Now from Colorado as well is Senator from Florida, Marco Rubio. Senator, congratulations. A number of people say you were one of the winners last night, but it seems universal. The big loser was CNBC. What kind of an agenda did they have going into that debate with you guys last night?
Yeah, I don't think it's atypical from what you see among most people in the mainstream media, which is, you know, privately they believe they're smarter than the people running, and they can't wait for their chance to show off in front of their budget, asking some question they think is going to embarrass, especially Republicans. I think the bigger frustration you saw is that all those candidates on the stage had prepared for a substantive debate. Everyone was ready to talk about trade policy and the debt and tax policies, and we were ready for that. Everybody was. And then you get questions like the ones everybody got, which were clearly designed to either get us to fight against each other or to say something embarrassing about each other, about us, and then ask us to react. And that's what the purpose of these questions were. And it became irritating. You go on a network that specializes in economic news, and you get questions like some of the ones that were asked last night,
right?
And their real frustration begins to bubble over.
Well, you began with great optimism, and you handled those types of questions very well, according to those that found it and watched it. We want to share with everybody a little bit of your response to those moderators in the mainstream bias. Watch.
You just listed a litany of discredited attacks from Democrats and my political opponents, and I'm not going to waste 60 seconds detailing them all. In 2008, Barack Obama missed 60 or 70% of his votes, and the same newspaper endorsed him again. So this is another example of the double standard that exists in this country between the mainstream media and the conservative movement. The Democrats have the ultimate super PAC. It's called the mainstream media. The mainstream media is going around saying it was the greatest week in Hillary Clinton's campaign. It was the week she got exposed as a liar.
We were saying that. Go ahead.
So you're just a young man in a hurry. That question really just blew everybody's minds that they would ask. I mean, today, when you look back on that moment, why are they telling you to sit back and wait this out? What are they so afraid of?
Yeah, and beyond that, I would say that that's actually something I've heard from the establishment of the Republican Party.
Sure.
I heard it when I ran for the Senate. I hear it now. You know, wait your turn, wait in line, it's someone else's turn. I don't know why there's this lack of urgency about the future of America. The time has come for the Republican Party to turn the page. No disrespect towards the people that are there now or served us in the past, but we need a new generation of leaders that understand what's going on in the 21st century in the lives of our people. And it's one of the reasons why I'm running. Our party and our country needs to elect leaders that understand what life is like for real people in the world today. This disconnect that exists today between Washington and the American people is enormous. And I wish I could say it was just Democrats. It's Republicans, too. And embedded in that question is that thought process that, well, you need to wait around for 30 years or 20 years before you can join us and be a part of what we're doing here. It's outrageous. And I quite frankly, don't understand it.
Is there anything to look at maybe what Governor Christie's going through now when he didn't run earlier? Maybe that was a lesson, the opportunity at it. Now, I want you to we're looking back at debates that you lived through. Here's something you didn't live through, and that's a Frank Luntz focus group. We put that soundbite to them, or Frank did, and here's their reaction. I know you can't see, but listen.
He called out Hillary for being a liar. I was really tired of hearing the mainstream media say what a great week she had last week. She was proved to be a liar.
And you like that language from Marco Rubio?
Absolutely. It was by far the best line of the night, in my opinion. I thought he was bold, and he flipped the script, and he came right back at him.
As a veteran myself, I appreciated the fact that he shined the spotlight on Hillary and how they've been covering for her in regards to our soldiers' deaths.
How many of you walked in here supporting Rubio? Walked in here supporting Rubio? 4 of you. How many of you are walking out supporting Rubio? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9.
So you heard their reaction. What's your feeling?
Yeah.
Started to end with
Well,
none.
look, I feel very strong about that issue. Yeah, well, it's good. I mean, we obviously want to see that reflected in early February in Iowa when we have that caucus. But yeah, but the bigger issue is the one they're talking about, the one we raised, and it's the one that really angered me last week. Hillary Clinton last week got caught. She was sending emails to her family and friends saying that the attack on Benghazi was a attack by terrorist groups, Al-Qaeda-like groups. And then she was going in front of the press for over a week. Yeah. She went to the families of these victims and told them this was because of a video. If that was a Republican that had done that, there would be editorials this country asking them to drop out of the race. Instead, what we got is headlines saying Hillary's back, greatest week ever, that she crushed the Republicans. It's outrageous. I mean, it is so blatantly obvious that the bias is so deep in the media and most of the media about these issues. And I wanted to point that out last night because we're tired of it. It's just unacceptable.
There was another example of media bias, and that is with the chief inquisitor last night, John Harwood, on the question regarding your tax plan. he flat out apparently lied about it. We're going to play the exchange and then do some explaining. Watch.
The tax foundation, which was alluded to earlier, scored your tax plan and concluded that you give nearly twice as much of a gain in after-tax income to the top 1% as to people in the middle of the income scale. Since you're the champion of Americans living paycheck to paycheck, don't you have that backward?
No, you're wrong. In fact, the largest after-tax gains is for the people at the lower end of the tax spectrum under my plan. And there's a bunch of things my tax plan does to help them. Number one, you have people in this country.
Tax Foundation, just to be clear, they said the gains after-tax income.
You wrote a story on it. You had to go back and correct it. You did.
I did not.
Oh, you did.
You were correct. You said he had to go back and correct it. He did with a tweet. We're going to put it up. There it is on October 14th. He corrected his tweet. And then last night, Scott Hodge, who is the president of the Tax Foundation, which was the quotation there, said this: Rubio was right about his plan. Poor get larger tax benefit than the rich.
Right.
By almost double. By almost double.
Yeah. So why?
And he was wrong. And he was wrong when he said that.
Do you think he just got the fact wrong, or was he just trying to play fast and loose with the facts to make you look bad?
Yeah. So what he did, instead of saying, well, your tax plan saves the most money for the people on the bottom end of the spectrum, but the rich get a break as well, explain that. He basically made in the worst way possible, and I caught him and corrected him on it. The truth is, my tax plan allows the people who make the least amount of money to keep the most. But my tax plan helps everyone without hurting anyone. It is not designed to punish anyone. It's one of the things I love about free enterprise is that everyone can be better off without anyone having to be worse off. That's the difference between conservatism and liberalism.
True.
Liberalism believes that the tax code and government exists to punish people who are successful, to help people that are struggling. I believe we can help everybody without hurting anyone. And that, in fact, it is a false choice to argue that you have to hurt some to help others.
Well, Senator, there's a lot of things you can criticize the moderators for, but not for Jeb Bush and you mixing it up. He decided to go after you over your voting record. Here's how it went, and here's what you said.
Marco, when you signed up for this was a 6-year term, and you should be showing up to work. I mean, literally, the Senate, what is it, like a French work week? You get like 3 days where you have to show up? You can campaign or just resign and let someone else take the job.
Over the last few weeks, I've listened to Jeb as he walked around the country and said that you're modeling your campaign after John McCain, that you're going to launch a furious comeback the way he did. You know how many votes John McCain missed when he was carrying out that furious comeback that you're now modeling it under?
He wasn't my...
No, Jeb, I don't remember... Well, let me tell you, I don't remember you ever complaining about John McCain's vote record. The only reason why you're doing it now is because we're running for the same position, and someone has convinced you that attacking me is going to help you.
Wow. You really believe that somebody got inside Governor Bush's head and said, you can't win if he's in?
Yeah, look, sometimes campaigns change direction because they're convinced of some strategy or some tactic. It isn't going to change me. And I said that last night. I haven't said a disparaging word about him, and I won't. I have admiration for him. He's consider him my friend, and I have personal affection towards him. I'm not running against Jeb Bush, nor am I running against any of the other Republicans in this race. Okay. I'm running for president. What I'm going to continue to do is tell people who I am and what I'll do if they make me president, and I'm going to let the voters decide who they want to nominate.
Senator, you were ready for that, though.
Well, look, again, I know that was an issue that people were out there talking about, that they were pushing, but that's not what my campaign is about. It's not about attacking other people, and I'm not going to start last night. If we have policy differences, I'm happy to discuss those.
Senator, we asked our viewers to send in questions since the moderators did such a lousy job getting to the issues. We're giving our viewers, though, a chance to get to the answers. Here's one for you, Senator, from Mark. He tweets this: had you been president the night our consulate in Benghazi was attacked, what would you have done differently? Your answer?
Well, first of all, if I had been president, that consulate would have either not been open or would have been better secured, because we knew that was a dangerous place. That ambassador and others repeatedly asked for more security. Second, we would have had an extraction team nearby. There was no military assets nearby to help extract these people. And unfortunately, 4 of them died. And beyond it, I would say that I would have immediately gotten involved, ensured that we had as many assets there as possible to help save lives if possible, and people would have paid a price for what they'd done. To this day, some of the individuals responsible for that attack remain at large. We know who they are, and in my opinion, I know it's a tough job, but not enough has been done to bring them to justice. And there are many people out there that were involved. This was an orchestrated and organized attack. But that consulate, if it would have been remained open, it would have had a lot more security than what it had that night, and it would have had an extraction plan with military assets nearby ready to respond.
Wouldn't have mind hearing that question last night. Senator Marco Rubio, you have a lot of reason to be pleased today. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.